Tamira's round table.
Come on, y'all.
Say what you want. Say what you mean.
Yeah.
Tamira's round table. Oh.
Come on, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Welcome to Tamira's Round Table. So recently I was speaking with a friend of mine, and we were debating about gay people who say that they were born gay. He disagreed. He felt that being gay was a lifestyle that you choose. I felt that there are some people who were actually born gay. I honestly feel that there are people who are born gay. And a lot of people, they don't really realize what's happening in their lives until they're much older. And by that time, unfortunately, in some cases, by that time, there's a lot of damage that has been done because a person wasn't able to be who they really wanted to be. My opinion, again, is I do feel that there are certain people who were born gay. What do you guys think about that? Let's get it.
I don't believe it. I don't.
I think there are a lot of myths. I'm sorry.
No.
Well, I think there are a lot of myths. I mean, just because things are age old does not make them true. Like take coffee. They say that coffee sobers up a drunk person. No. It makes you a wide awake drunk. I know. So, but the thing is, I believe that something's either in you or it's not. Now, I'm speaking as a heterosexual male. I have nothing against anybody, nobody's sexuality or anything, as long as you're not a predator.
Right.
What you as adults do is there. But I don't think anybody can choose that. It's not a choice. I don't think you can choose that any more than you can choose what pleases your taste buds.
Right.
Because I know I've had some of the most horrendous times when it came to women, but I couldn't find the ability to say, you know something, I think I'm gonna go to a bar and pick up a guy now. And again, nothing against people like that,
Right.
but I can't do it.
Well,
I cannot bring myself to it. So who could choose that?
Right.
It's like that. It's like when they say you can't choose who you fall in love with,
That's a lot.
and that's what I think. You know, when I think about this whole topic, it's like you can't choose who you're gonna fall. It just comes down to that basic. You can either fall in love with, you know, your same sex, and I speak from LGBT community. So for me, it's like I fell in love with a woman, and it was way later in my life. I would have never dreamed of that ever coming up for me. And I was like, okay, well, you know, you can't choose who you fall in love with. Like, I'm in love with her, so
It was a
that's
natural
it.
thing.
Well,
Exactly.
You know?
Maybe you have some tendencies growing up as a child that you felt that you should be either a male or a female. Look at Bruce Jenner recently.
But that's separate from
But that's a
sexuality.
different topic.
That's a different topic.
Hold on.
Talking about with
Ladies.
someone's gender identity and your sexual orientation are two completely different things. What you identify as a human being, whichever gender, male, female, or in between, that's one thing. Then who you're attracted to, male or female, is a whole other ballgame. So they don't cross. A lot of times we get it confused because the LGBT community is looked at as this one big swirl of color, but actually just like every human being is complex, not complicated, but we're all complex.
Right?
So are the LGBT. Now, in regards to this whole theory that we choose, I can understand why someone would say that because there's a lot of people who might be heterosexual, and you might choose to have a homosexual experience, and that might not make you gay. I've known people in my life that are very close that have family members who, because they were trying to make money or whatever, they decided to do something against their natural makeup. But what's in you is what's in you. Now, I speak as a man who's attracted to both sexes. And I realized that growing up, like I always try to feel like I had to choose one, but it's always been both. Like from childhood, you just know. There is no, like, there's a lot of media influence, there's a lot of society influence, your parents influence you, you have to be provided with certain opportunities to explore it or not explore it. But however, what's in you is when you, whether you're straight, gay, bi, tri, if it's in you, it's gonna come out.
I'm just saying, like from a biological aspect and etymology is the basis of how you form words. When you look at homosexual, it's a compound word. Homo meaning same, sexual meaning sex. You dig what I'm saying? children are not sexually active.
Right.
They're not. Children are not sexually active. Hold on. Then from a biological aspect, they're pumping chicken, beef, corn with all types of hormones. You dig what I'm saying? So I understand when they say I was born like that. Yeah, of course, because your chemical makeup made you come out like that. It's all a part of a coercion thing. Then when you talk about the history of homosexuality, it is something brand new to the earth.
No, it is not.
No,
No, it is not. Now,
I want to say something.
All species have homosexuality.
When what you perceive as homosexuality is not homosexuality. Almost.
do you speak as a homosexual saying?
No, heterosexual. But as far as when I look at it, like I said, people try to use the horse, the seahorse as an example to a degree, because the male gives birth.
He was talking about the seahorses.
The
horses in the sea.
I'm gonna do it like this. I was talking about seahorses and like how our perspectives on these aspects of homosexuality are obscure. You know what I mean? We're not really looking at homosexuality. Then on top of that, when you talk about the human race, you cannot have humans homosexually. You can't. It's against nature. Not saying that, you don't have your choice of blah, blah, blah. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. But once again, when you start talking about the natural makeup of things and how things are ran, it just doesn't rock. You know what I mean? Like I said, you can do anything. I've seen people, you know what I mean? I've seen people have sex with cows. You know what I mean? There's people who are attracted to children. And that's when I start, this is where I start to, like, oh, how can you accept that but not that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of children who
But
grow up
the
to
thing
become
is, the thing is that when you if you're gonna take it into a place where you're gonna compare it with something like people who are attracted to children, but you're still hurting someone and taking some choice by me choosing to love someone of the same or opposite sex, I'm not taking anyone's choice away. And yes, you're right. I do have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice to either honor what I really feel inside. Yes. That's why you have so many closeted homosexuals and so many DL people because they didn't honor the choice. They chose not to be who they really were. So in the aspect we do have a choice. We have a choice to either go with what we know or go with our heart.
But that goes then for any culture, right?
Yes,
Right? Because I could choose not to date Asian. I could choose to date a black guy.
But
I
inside
could
you
choose
can
to
be
date a white
initially
guy.
attracted to an
Right?
Asian, but still not. That's what my thing is.
Exactly.
You can have the attraction there and still choose not to, or you can have the attraction there and still choose to.
Absolutely.
That's
how
the
I
choice.
saw
But you can't help what's
I see
initially
it like
inside.
But the topic is about are you born?
Right.
Are you born? And we're
Some
talking about,
people
from what I just said alone,
Some of the things I've been hearing about these two sexes and all that, is people are born with two types of sex. That's kind of crazy too.
that's a homo
But you
thing.
have some men who are born with breasts. You have some men who are born with different kind of hips, different kind of size. But anyway, to the question that Tamira had said, which is a good question, me being a homosexual male, me growing up as a child, I used to love playing house. I like to play the father part. I think that once I got older,
It changed.
once I got like, I think like 9 or 8 or 10, I like men. I like men. I used to want to sit on my uncle's lap. I did experience being molested, but I think, and that happened when I was about 9 years old.
Which is a lot of the.
Well, all I'm saying to me in a way, when you're a child, you really don't know. No, you don't know, but
I have to say.
well, you know what?
I have to inject
No,
that.
but let me make a valid point. I think that I'm fully gay, but I believe that I'm still attracted sometimes to a female if I find that right person.
I hear that.
You know,
Don't stop.
if I found that right person, but the thing about it is that I believe, I don't know, because when I was a child, I didn't really. I wanted to be the father. I wanted to be the father,
Anybody
not
say
the
such
aunt,
a-
not the mother, not like As I got older, and my mother.
But even being the father, is that really talking about
Being-
sexuality? Because I'm a father right now.
Right,
and I still have had a
right.
boyfriend. So if we're gonna take the question, we have to focus on the question,
Right.
not all the other
Exactly.
stuff. The question
It's coming
is,
off.
do you feel like Do you feel, how old would I realize that I like both sexes?
When you were 3 and 4,
When I think back to my earliest memory, I knew, regardless of you saying we don't know exactly the specifics of our sexuality. We don't necessarily know the word for it. We don't know how to define it. We don't know the perfect vocabulary because we haven't expressed it yet. But what I meant was internally, if I think right now, back to my earliest memory, I was attracted to both sexes. And you say that we're not sexual as kids, but I was childhood petting. That's a whole part of the process. It all goes into that. You're an exploring. And in doing that, even before even touching, I already knew what I wanted.
Right.
Now, because society will tell me, well, mommy and daddy are supposed together, and mom and daddy lay in the bed together. You have certain conditions that are put in your brain. They make you feel like you're not supposed to do something. And we're trained and we're maneuvered through. Some people are lucky enough to be born into a situation where their parents support it, or where their society that they're surrounded by, or their community supports it, and they'll be able to express it wholeheartedly. And then you have other kids who aren't put in situations where they can express that. You have a lot of kids that are born to same gender loving individuals and still a heterosexual.
Right. I've seen it. Yeah.
You're born with it. It's not something that you can trickle down.
Right.
You got it or you don't.
I think it's in you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me. I think it was in me. It was in me, but I was afraid to express it. I was afraid. You know what? It was in me.
And that's what I said at the beginning.
I was afraid to bring it out because, you know, me being born in the church, raised in the church, raised by my parents and my grandmother, and my church they don't judge you. My church don't judge you. But I mean, when I was younger, I felt that I could not express myself, even though I had the ways and I was still acting like, you know, they say like a girl. I was doing my little sachet chantés and, you know, not being myself, but really trying to hide it. You know what I mean? I mean, my mother, she kept asking me, are you gay? Like, just tell me.
And when she asked you that, you denied it every time?
Denied it like 5 times. I said to my mother, she got, and to the point I felt like I was on, what's that show again? The Haves and the Have-Nots. She would bring girls to me and be like, you know, this is my son. And then I had, when I see one of like other churches, the girls were like, oh, you're so fun. And I'm like, and my mom like, get away from me. You know, like, no, I'm just saying, you know, but I believe that you are, because first and foremost, when I do, you know, it's a lot of, I still get hit on by women. Like, I still get hit on by women, and I'm saying, I was like, you must not know. Like, you know, I'm just saying, you must not know, and, you know, I was afraid. I was actually afraid to come out, and then, you know, the first person I told was my bishop. Wow. And he was very open. He wasn't judgmental. He told me, you have to feel right within yourself to tell other people. He said, you have to be accepting within yourself. And that's one thing I learned. I felt that I'm respectful to other people's opinion, other people's spaces. But like I said, I believe that it's in you.
Right.
Well, I want to say something. My therapist is very funny because I've always been in a male, like a heterosexual relationship, right? And then I was 30 years old, seeing my therapist for years, okay? And I would never, it's like a freaking TV series. I would never forget. I didn't even say hello. I just walked into the office, sat down, and was like, so I've been seeing you for how many years now? And he's like, a while, almost a decade. I was like, have I ever come in here and said that I like women? That I'm attracted to women? Like, can I just wake up one day and be attracted to a woman?
Without
like, I was,
explaining
you know, like, what is it? Is it because I've been abused in my past or this or that? Like, a lot of stuff came up for me, to be really open. And it wound up, he just said, Kim, it's just like, it's a line. You know, and every person has the ability to be on a spectrum of that line. They could be extremely on the right, choosing only heterosexual. They could be maybe just a little bit more towards the middle where they could go either way. Or they could be extremely on the left where they're completely homo. Like, every human being has the capacity to be bisexual. It's what they're choosing where to fall into the line, right? And that's
freedom of
important.
choice again.
However,
I have to reiterate. The thing is, like I said, I think it's nature, not nurture, for one thing. Okay, I think if people are like, you know, adding, like, complicating things, because like me myself, I've never ever been attracted to a man, ever.
I've never been attracted to a man.
Ever. But at the same time, going to what you were saying about society not accepting people, I've never in my life, and I've been brought up in the church in those strict environments.
Oh, yes.
Where they say, stuff like that is not
I
accepted.
rebuke
And
you.
people have tried to go along with that. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen, now y'all being brought up in church, I know y'all seen where they laid the hands on you. Come out of here. Come out of here. Come out of here. I've seen them fall out speaking these tongues and everything and claim that they've gained their natural sexuality. Yeah, right.
Now, let me
major.
interject
You
for
can't- you
a
cannot
moment.
make somebody
Jimmy, let me interject for a moment, being that he's on the church, the issue of church. And like he said, a lot of churches, and it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, it's online constantly. You see videos of pastors, like you said, going in on people to pray the gay out. And, it looks, when I'm looking at it, it looks wrong.
Yeah, I dig that.
It looks wrong. And my thing is, for churches, for me, what church is supposed to be is love. Right?
Yes. I wanted to speak to this thing about deliverance in church and homosexuality. Funny thing happened. Now it's funny. It wasn't funny at the time. I had a friend female, who fell under the power, and I went to retrieve her as she fell, and my hand fell on her thigh. They ran to the back of the church to open the door because they said we had a homosexuality. So she went for one thing, and then she was also told she had something else just because my hand fell on her thigh.
Get out of here.
But so I can tell you for myself, from the culture of church, and also coming from a Caribbean family, I was cultured that I had to be with a man, that I had to serve a man. I was married twice and divorced twice. And what I could tell you is I was very uncomfortable with a man. And I did it twice. And I said, I have to do it. I have to go to church. I have to please my family. I have to do what is expected of me. And I felt vile every time I slept with a man. And I have a son and everything.
And I think that's, I'm sorry, I think that's torture to do that to a person. I think any church that makes a person feel that they can't be who they are, that's crazy to me.
That's one thing, but another thing about church that I don't like, they also make you feel the same way if you're not married.
Or you're not following their scripture.
Right.
But on the topic of being a homosexual, honestly, it's messed up whether it's the church,
Or
your
society.
mother, your father, your brother, your teacher, anybody who does not allow you to be you, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Kind of the same thing I was saying when we were talking about, being gay versus, someone being attracted to a kid. You're hurting someone. You're taking away someone's choice. But someone, let people just mind your business. Mind your business and let people be. If I'm not trying, just because I'm gay and I'm around a whole bunch of dudes, I'm not trying to do stuff to y'all just because you a dude. And just because you have a lesbian in the room doesn't mean that she wants to sleep with every girl.
But
We're still people. We still got morals.
Everybody has a right to their freedom of choice.
But the point is, are you born gay?
Freedom to be.
You
Not
choose to be.
No,
That's
freedom
the
to be
point.
who I
That's
am.
still
Freedom
right.
to not
Who
to
you
choose.
choose to be.
Freedom to be who I
But
already
he's
am.
saying he's not choosing. He's saying
I'm not
freedom
choosing.
to be
I'm
who
choosing
he
to
is.
be who I already
Right.
am. Who I am was not a choice. But
I
me
say it
waking
like that
up
because
each day
you're
and
talking
being
about
the
how
person I
people
was
want
born
to
to
choose
be,
for
that is
you
my choice.
how you should think about yourself. And I'm saying you have a right to think about yourself the way you feel and the way you want to be, the way you feel comfortable
The way that
with
I
you.
am.
But to be
You two are
born
saying the same
sexual
thing.
is not happening.
But
No,
he's
okay,
talking
so
about
going
the
back to, like,
semantics of it.
No, I'm
My
saying like
story-
I could desire to be a freaking football player, and that's something I could aspire to do. I can aspire to do these things, but naturally, hey, that's something I can get along the way. Me loving who I love is not something that I can pick up.
Right.
That's
It's
not
the
something I
same-
can pick
It's the
up.
same thing as my point that I was making earlier. If I walk down the street, there's like how many men in the street? Any man can attract my attention, But I'm not gonna feel attracted. That's not a choice. That
because he's
automatically
attractive.
happens.
Right.
Yes.
It's not something that I'm saying, oh, he's cute, I'm gonna be attracted to him.
Thank
There's
you.
many men that I find that are beautiful, but there is no attraction.
Right.
There's women that are beautiful, and there is an attraction. It's not something I'm thinking about doing, it
Right.
just happens.
It's involuntary.
But you
And
Yeah,
another
it's
thing,
something.
and
That's
another
right.
thing,
You have a
It's
right
another
involuntary.
thing.
Be
The same
who
way
you
if you
are.
put your
You
hand,
feel.
if you put your hand under hot water, you're gonna move it because it's hot.
Yes.
Involuntary.
And another thing I want to
It's not a
another thing-
thought, it's not a choice.
Right.
Right.
It's
Right.
And
automatic.
another thing I want to say too.
Well, your brain
It's the same thing.
Did you
if I
choose?
eat-
Here's
if
another.
I
I want
eat-
you to paint a picture for anybody in the room that's heterosexual. Did you wake up choosing a woman, or is it something that just naturally
It
happened?
naturally happens.
It naturally happened,
Naturally
right?
happens.
Did you wake up and say, no, today I think, you know what? I think for the rest of my life, I think I'm gonna like some PUSSY. No, you couldn't help it.
Well, hold on.
Exactly.
Hold on.
It was natural. And that's what I'm saying.
I think that does happen. I think that is another.
That
No,
cannot-
no,
that
but that's
cannot
not,
happen.
that's not what we're talking about
I think
here.
they do that. People want to
They
experience
might be,
different
but what we're
things.
talking
That's
about
another
here
question.
is we're talking about instinctive.
Are you born that way?
You're born that way, and when
You're not
you're
born
talking about,
sexual.
and when you bring up the subject
You're not born
of,
sexual.
well, according to natural,
You're not born sexual.
according to
Yes,
things
you
that
are.
are
Yes, you
natural,
are.
according to things
Yes,
that are natural,
you are.
male
Like
and female sex,
sexual.
sex and reproduce.
You are born
But-
sexual.
I'm
You
sorry.
are.
You're born with the sex, but you're not born sexual.
Well, let's just.
You're born sexual if, as a child, you're laying in your crib and you are discovering yourself and you begin
That's not
to.
sexuality.
Excuse me, let me just
I'm sorry.
finish because you've been
Go
talking
ahead.
a lot.
You're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you touch yourself and you touch your whole body,
That's-
and as a child, you might feel something. As a child,
Arousal.
it doesn't. If you might get aroused, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that that child that touched themselves is gay or heterosexual. But what happens is that whatever is in you, it begins to awaken. So as you become a person, you gear more toward what has awakened inside. It's in you. So you're born with it. You're born like some people are born allergic to dust. Some people are not.
Right.
And dust is everywhere. So he's allergic to dust. I'm not allergic to dust. But we still human beings. It's the same thing with some people are born gay and some people are not. It just is what it is. It's the chemical imbalance or the chemical balance
That's what I'm-
And I
inside.
think,
Thank you.
I think,
Thank you
unless,
for
I
that
think
last part.
unfortunately in society, it's what we act upon, right? Because we can think about, I can see someone's husband and go, oh my God. And then I can either act on it, I can use my morals and say, well, he's married, or I can say, well, we can work this out. You know,
But
we all, your feelings, this is what I say, your emotions and feelings never lie.
They don't. And,
You can either, hold up,
Okay,
you
I'm
can
sorry.
either act on it or not act on it.
Right.
I can not like
Freedom of
Nico
choice.
and want to slap the crap out of him right now.
But she doesn't.
But, you know, I can either act on it or not act on it. There are a lot of people we work with that we don't like. We can act on it or not because we know our job is on the line. We can't go run around fighting everybody, you know, how we feel about them. And that's just the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to let Jimmy speak and then we're going to wrap this.
Just to reiterate the point you all trying to make, yes, people are born sexual, but the thing is, because you're a young child, your sexuality is not going to manifest yet.
Right.
I mean, think about it. You don't reach puberty until the earliest, like 11? You know what I mean? And then that's when you're going to really, really start raging. And I don't care what anybody says. When your hormones start raging, you cannot control
right,
what
right.
you
I see
feel.
it, though.
Right? So,
And you
so-
can't
so-
control what
no,
you like.
you cannot.
So
it's
my
going to
whole-
manifest because I've
You
had
know?
more than one psychiatrist tell me that your sexual desires, okay, are only second to your desire to eat. So there's no way you're going to reach later on in life to say the other and realize, you know something, I like this too. No, it's going to
Right.
manifest. And the thing is, like I said, somebody had raised a point earlier about, you know, how could you not like, you know, like homosexuals but hate child molesters.
Pedophile.
Homosexuality is not predatory behavior.
Oh, yes.
Pedophilia is predatory behavior. You are a monster.
Right.
Why do you
But once
feel,
again,
why
look,
do you feel that it's predatory?
because you have to impose upon that vulnerable nature of the person and how they feel about themselves and how society is accepting them. It's not the same. It's not the same way. Hold on. It's not the same way when it's a heterosexual thing because everybody is expecting you to be a certain kind of way. There's a certain kind of zeitgeist that goes with being homosexual. Just the same way that is with heterosexuality. Like I said, everybody's talking about how you feel, how you born, how you feel, how you born.
Right.
Pedophiles are born this way. How can you discriminate? And you want people to understand your disposition.
Because the pedophile.
No. Don't make excuses.
That's not an excuse. The
Don't
pedophile
make
is hurting
excuses.
someone.
How do you know that? The child likes it. Somebody.
No.
Hold on. Somebody up in here just said that they was molested. I ain't hear that they said they disliked it.
Wow.
Sorry.
I did not.
Whoa.
There wasn't like, oh, when I was 9, I did this,
Because,
that, and the third.
excuse me,
when I was
when you're
8,
a child, you are vulnerable.
Right and exact.
And up to a
You're not
certain
old
age,
enough.
you
Right
cannot
and
consent.
exact. That's exactly my
Up to a
point.
certain age, you cannot
No.
consent.
That's exactly my
Children
point.
don't know it's wrong.
This is
Yeah.
my
Children don't know
point. So
it.
if you're young and you're homosexual and you don't know what you're just wrong, this is what I'm trying to get at. You cannot say
If you're
what's
trying to
good
take
what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I don't know. Say
What's
that.
good for the goose is good for the gander.
I'm
I'm not saying I condone any of it. All I'm
I'm
saying
not
is
saying
like,
you're condoning
No.
it. Let's break it down.
Good.
Because I think I get where you're going at. All right, you're saying the pedophile has an instinctual nature, just as we have our instinctual nature to maybe be bisexual, maybe be homosexual.
Whatever.
Okay. The difference is though, a child, whether they're exploring their sexuality or not, there is now a hierarchy in authority, and there is a violation because a child's voice
Thank you.
and ability
so it's
to,
like for children to do that to each
defend
other.
themselves from someone, provided they don't want to be.
Right.
If they do not want to be,
Right.
okay? And another thing in respects to vulnerability, when we're talking back to the psychiatry and age, your hormones are raging, okay? When you're under a position where you are being violated, your hormones are also, you don't know what to do with these hormones.
Right.
So
You
there
don't really
is
understand.
there is right there and then there is now an adult who's had X amount of years to manage their hormones, taking advantage of someone
Not in
who
every
does
case.
it.
Not in every case though. Because
Not-
18 years old to a 9-year-old is still pedophilia. An 18-year-old, you're not gonna tell me has an adult mind.
It's not about having an
Tell
adult
me.
mind.
You know
It's
right
about
from wrong.
having the conscious knowledge of right and wrong.
Right.
And
Yes,
knowing
when you're
that this
nine,
child is
We're
vulnerable.
talking about being born like that. That's the whole topic.
But we're also
Pedophiles
talking
are
about-
born like
But
that.
there's
We're also
a
talking
violation
about
of
we're also
someone
talking about
who happened in their
abnormal
life.
and normal
No,
sexuality.
What's normal is only to the person who thinks it's normal.
No. The
Homosexual to me is not normal.
Right.
To you.
Right? Exactly. So,
Well, that's what he's saying. However you perceive something to be, that's what it is.
That's going back to what you said.
That's your-
You don't not question how you feel about being who you are.
Right.
these
So
pedophiles are
that we
comfortable
have a
who
right
they
to
are.
be who
Right,
we
but
are
they're
too.
hurting
No, they not.
No,
We
you
think
sure
that
do.
argument
But,
is
what,
right
but the
between us.
pedophilia,
Yes,
but
they are,
pedophilia
because
is
they're
not breaking
preying.
down to your instinctive nature to be attracted to something. You are making a conscious to have some sex with somebody who is younger than you.
And the
That's
thing
different.
is,
You're violating another human
they
being.
still feel
I'm
that
not
way.
violating
They still
violating
feel
somebody.
that way.
There's a distinction.
Because there's an agreement. If I have sex with a man, there's a mutual agreement what is happening. Because we both understand.
I was a 9-year-old and
what
an
is going
18-year-old.
I know
But
this
that's why
much.
9 and an 18-year-old.
I've been molested by women. And I know when I was 9, 10 years old, I did not like it. And I told them I ain't like it. And I told others I ain't like how I was feeling, all that stuff. That doesn't mean like, oh, they was, all I'm saying is like, you cannot.
That's perversion separated from your sexuality. Regardless of you being attracted to her, it was still perverse.
But you could
They're
have, you
twisted
could have,
separate.
you
They're
could
not
have
the
been
same.
molested by
It's
a woman.
exactly the same.
You could have been molested by a woman and not liked it and decided in that moment that you wasn't going to be with women because you didn't like it. Because the
But I
reverse
didn't
is,
choose that.
excuse me, for the reverse is being a woman and being molested by a woman and not liking the woman who molested you, and so you won't be with women because you was violated as a child.
She was an older woman. I love older women.
I'm not.
See, the two things really don't have anything to do with
Right.
each other. to
Yeah,
be
that's what I'm
honest.
saying.
And
The
first of all,
pedophile
no, that they don't have anything to do with one
Let's talk
another,
about
and they're
being born like
adorable,
this.
and they are born like that, and they are wired like that. But that's their problem. They have to keep that to
That's a
themselves.
problem?
Yes, because
So
they have
homosexual
no.
not?
No, because
Because
homosexuals are, like he said,
It's consensual.
two consensual adults can do whatever they want to do.
So then you're not born. It's a choice. That's
No, I might be choosing to have
permission.
no.
You need
I'm
to
saying
know
there's
each other.
a choice to have. At that moment where we're entering the bedroom, yes, we are both making a conscious decision to have sex with each other.
Yes.
But love
Right.
is a completely different thing, and
I dig
attraction is completely different.
dig it.
So we call it homosexual. Fine, let's break it down. Same gender loving individuals.
okay.
If I love somebody of the same sex, there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. And if I'm
Okay.
having sex with somebody of the same sex, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because we are consenting. But I cannot help the fact that I still love this person
Okay.
because the way that people who are not homosexual, they look at it as that we're just going around fucking people of the same
Yeah.
language. We're having sex with people of the same
They're
sex. We love these individuals.
This
We care about
indirect-
these
this
individuals. We
indirect
have
consent.
families. We're in 2015. We have families with these
I hear
individuals.
that, but this
So
is
it's not
indirect
just about
consent
sex.
as well. Yes, it is.
So it is normal.
Sexuality, the root word of sexuality is sex, bro. How is it not about sex?
That's a lie.
But some of them committing
It's-
act like that is a crime because somebody under the age of 18 can't consent legally, for one thing.
But there's still indirect consent because I still told the
No,
woman I didn't
no,
like
no,
it.
no, no,
Yes,
they
there
don't
is.
have the
I told her I
ability.
didn't
So
like
you
it.
did you have power to
Even
have it
statutory.
stop?
Yes, I did.
How?
I told somebody else. I was like, I'm telling my father.
Well, obviously you didn't believe it.
And,
but
Cool.
and
It
did
didn't
it
stop.
But even still, you were still violated. A crime was committed.
I understand that. I understand that. But I did not consent. Everybody's talking about this consent.
But that's what we're
That's
saying.
what
No,
we're
no,
saying.
no. A lot of children do.
Adults.
A lot of children do not do what I did.
Consent to that.
A lot of children do
They
not do
don't
what I
want to.
did.
They don't
Because
want
they
to.
don't feel like they are
have
they
any
have
power.
power.
Now listen,
And some
listen,
children
this
are
still-
afraid
this
to
still
tell their
indirect.
parents because
Well, I'm
they're
gonna use the
scared their
analogy-
parent is going to say something, going to do something crazy.
I'm gonna use the
Like my
analogy
dad.
of the cops, right?
Yep.
A lot of us don't know how to handle cops, right? So a lot of times, whether we consent or not, we do what the cop says, right?
Let's hold that for a second.
Yep.
Tamira's Roundtable. Thank you.
Tamira's Roundtable. Come on. Say what you want. Say what you mean. Yeah. Tamira's Roundtable. Oh.
Come on, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it.